Hello, and welcome back, everybody. We have all the lights on today, but it's still an early morning. It's like 5:30. I'm up far too early. I get up at like 4 a.m. So, what happened to Job? Job's life is something right now. He lost all of his property, all his children. His wife's still there, but she's not she's not there at the same time, you know? She's just not there. His three friends come and they're sprinkling dust on their head. That's how sad they are. They don't even know what to do. I did watch a video yesterday, and it was about the dark side of God, and it was Carl Jung had written a book, which I have not written, but I've thought about it before. Um, and it says that like this more or less deal or wager that he has with God. Because what I wanted to come back, right, and verify was who started the bet. Because that's how it was kind of framed. Uh, and it possesses, yep, it's talking about who did it first. That's what I want to know. And there was a day when the Son of God, came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, right, and the Lord said to Satan, have you considered, right, God brings it up. That's the dark side of God, right? Why? Why do that? You know? Why was Satan allowed to be there? You know? I don't know. Right, we're servants. We don't ask those questions. Well, let's get back to Job's. And yeah, I'll expand on the idea. I'm sure. Has to be. It's going to expand by itself. Somebody else already made a video about it, and that got a lot of views. So, 3. Chapter 3. Job deplores his birth. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. Ain't that kind of it? And Job spoke and said, may the day perish on which I was born. Yeah. And the night in which it was said, a male child is conceived. Wow, he's going back not only to his moment of birth, but to his moment of conception. May the day be darkness. May God above not seek it. Oh, wow, he's looking out for God. Nor the light shine upon it. May darkness and the shadow of death claim it. May a cloud settle on it. May the blackness of a day terrify it. As for the night, may darkness seize it. May it not rejoice among the days of the year. May it not come into the number of the months. Oh, may that night be barren. May no joyful shout come into it. May those curse it who curse the day. Those who are ready to arouse Leviathan. May the stars of its morning be dark. May it look for light, but have none, and not see the dawning of the day, because it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hide sorrow from my eyes. Why did I not die at birth? Why did I not perish when I came from the womb? Or why the beasts? Or why the breasts that I should nurse? For now I would have lain still and been quiet. I would have been asleep. Then I would have been at rest. With kings and counselors of the earth who built ruins for themselves, or with princes who had gold who filled their houses with silver. Or why was it Or why was I not hidden like a stillborn child, like infants who never saw light? There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary are at rest. There the prisoners rest together. They do not hear the voice of the oppressor. The small and great are here, and the servant is free from his master. So he's asking for a little bit of reprieve. Why is light given to him who is in misery, and life to the bitter of soul, who long for death, but it does not come, and search for it more than hidden treasure, who rejoice exceedingly, and are glad when they can find the grave? Why is light given to a man who is hidden, and God has hedged in? He's saying he doesn't have light right now, I guess. For my sighing comes before I eat. What does that mean? Literally my bread. But he's sighing. Oh. And my groanings pour out like water. For the thing I greatly feared has come upon me, and what I dread has happened to me. I am not at ease, nor I am quiet. I have no rest, for trouble comes. He's expecting more? Yeah, I don't know. Kanye West has a song about this, right? Or at least references in it. And I know it comes up a lot, right? And I know my framing of it is certainly, there's no way I can't really view it as a wager, right? God is literally testing him. And maybe this is post-Israelite, right? So, like, the Israelites tested God. And maybe that is why? I mean, I don't... Probably in Genesis was the reference of the devil. And then maybe like this, but I don't know. I feel bad, right? Because at the end of the day, right, I know if it's phrased like it's a wager or a bet, right? That's not what it is. To a Bible-bearing Christian, maybe. I don't even know what that means. But I feel like if I said that in church, people might look at me weird, right? But God brings it up to Satan. Why do that? Satan doesn't like you. Bored on earth, right? Walking to and fro. What does that even mean? You ain't got nothing to do? He's just walking back and forth, nothing to do. And you stop him. Where do you come from? You put me here, bro. What kind of question is that? You know? Like, do we not understand what's happening? Do we not understand the picture that's been painted? Or are we just painting over old pictures and expecting people not to notice, you know? Like, couldn't tell you at this point, but like, that's what it seems like. And it's maddening at the end of the day, right? Because you can't get any consistency between anybody. Like, you don't even know. It's a little bit frustrating, you know? But he lost everything, right? And now he's over here fucking wishing that he wasn't born. He said, I wish I was never conceived. I wish the sun would go away. I could go hide in a hole. I could go dig myself a trench and just bury me alive, actually. I think that's what he's asking. Bury me alive. My goodness. Okay, 4. This says Job has sinned. Job ain't doing no sinning. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, if one attempts a word with you, will you become weary? Are you going to get tired when we're talking? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Not you, because you just said the entirety of chapter 3. Surely you have instructed many, and you have strengthened weak hands. Right, you raised kids, bro. you did this before. He said, oh no, this is his training arc. Or we're not done yet. This is Rocky's training session. Your words have upheld him who has stumbled, and you have strengthened the feeble knees. And now it comes upon you, and you are weary. It touches you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence for confidence? Or is not your reverence your confidence? So even at the end of all that, he still has respect for God. And the integrity of your ways, your hope, right? You're going to keep living your life. I mean, that's how you got it the first time. Not to say, right? Remember now, whoever perished being innocent, or where were... Remember now, whoever perished being innocent is a question mark, as in a question. So who does perish innocent? It happens sometimes, I'm sure. I mean, Job was technically innocent, right? Is he not saying that? Job didn't do anything, so... And the integrity, your ways of hope, which is another good statement, right? Which is like, you should have hope that everything's going to be alright, because like, you didn't do anything wrong the first time, so everything should go back to normal. Eventually, if you just keep doing what you're doing and you don't give up, and you don't wish that you weren't born. Remember now, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the upright ever cut off? Even as I have seen, those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. As long as you're working, God can use whatever you do, right? It doesn't even matter then. Obviously, think about your decisions, you know it's right, but like, that's kind of what it's saying. Is that God is so powerful and knows so much. Those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. By the blast of God they perish, both of them. And by the breath of his anger they are consumed. The roaring of a lion, the voice of a fierce lion, and the teeth of a young lion are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey. And the cubs of the lioness are scattered. Now a word was secretly brought to me, and my ears received a whisper of it. In disquieting thoughts from the visions of the night. When deep sleep falls on men, fear comes upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair on my body stood up. I stood still, but I could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. There was silence. When I heard a voice saying, "Can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can a man be more pure than his Maker? If he puts no trust in his servants, if he charges his angels with error, how much more those who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed before a moth. They are broken in pieces from morning until evening. They perish forever with no one regarding. Does not their own excellence go away? They die even without wisdom." So this is... Oh, it's a pep talk. Sorry, don't know how I forgot that, but it's a pep talk. Right. And So when you have an individualistic view of God to yourself, right, and you're walking through your life, and maybe this is talking about myself at this point now, though, but right, there's an individual view of God, and at least I've noticed, right, talking with other people, is that words are indeed very important. Everybody says they're not important, right? But in terms of understanding, they are very important. So like, just by talking and having a conversation with somebody, you can usually tell, at least I can tell, that like the words that I would choose to describe God, I guess, they're not the same as other people's words. And maybe it's an understanding thing. At the end of the day, right? A basis of knowledge as well. And like, I'll be honest, my esoteric knowledge, not gonna do that, but it does. And at the end of the day, I do need to be careful what I say to people, right? Because the ideas that I like have in my head because of what I've read, right? I mean, they're not right at the end of the day. I mean, they could have been at one point, right, before things were like as final as they are now, but like not at the time that they were written, or maybe more so at the time that they were written. They're less so true now. Because like I said, I don't know what influence God had before Abraham, right? The only mention of it is in Salem with the king Melchizedek, which God had contacted and had a relationship with before Abraham ever left Sumeria. It's the only like real, but then they were talking about like I said, all ideas, right? And that's the only mention in the Bible. I think it's in Genesis. Hold on. I will look that up because I think that is useful. And Genesis 14:18-20, Melchizedek, the god of... So I'll read it. Genesis... Yeah. This whole chapter was a little bit... Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of the God Most High, and blessed him and said, Blessed be Abraham of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And he gave him a tithe of all. Now the king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the persons and take goods for yourself. And then God gives Abraham a vision, and that's when the covenant is formed. So, like, maybe that's it. Right? Sons to sons. Maybe I never got an opportunity to read this. Tower of Babel. Right, the Great Flood. So, if we start at 1, right? In the Epic of Gilgamesh, right? Then you have the flood. we have Cain and Abel, right? Which is like the second mess up. Adam and Eve was kind of the first one that didn't go as intended. Cain and Abel also didn't go as intended. Then you have like two branches, right? Because then they have a new one, Seth, which is, so you have Cain and Seth. You have descendants of Cain then, which are just walking the earth. And Seth, which is going to like a more ruling class. The family of Adam, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Methuselah, Enoch. And then, yeah, there's just so much unaccounted for time. You know? And that's the other part of it, is that there is so much unaccounted for time. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. Tar pits, I guess. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, "Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And that is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down." Who's saying this? God? So the Lord... Why would he do that? So it just goes straight from Noah and his sons. Everybody should have been dead, right? And then the sons of Noah would have repopulated the earth. And then the Tower of Babel. So you're bullying Noah's kids, right? That's what God is doing. You're bullying Noah's children. They're building a tower. They're going to make names for themselves, so we're not supposed to do that. So you need to be ever present then. That's what needs to occur, right? They're baking. They're literally making stuff, dude. I don't understand. Yeah, you're right. That doesn't sound... Therefore the name of it is called Babel, because the Lord confused the languages of all the earth, and from that the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. But why? So you didn't take over the world and made it harder for yourself? Like, fuck free will at some point. You know? What the fuck? It doesn't even matter. Right, I have faith. It's all gonna happen, right? It's just like, I guess you get to see the beginning of the story. And then the end of it. We're literally living the actions of this, right? This is what we're living. is what came after this and what came after these books. So we gonna be alright. But thank you, God, for continuing to give us an opportunity, regardless of how ungrateful we might be sometimes. And help us to keep asking questions and building, doing the right thing. And maybe the best thing is that maybe we weren't supposed to see him. Or maybe we're supposed to help him out without having to ask questions. You know? Understanding that things will just work out in the end, but you need to continue to do your part, right? And that you stopping, you doing whatever you're doing to worry about whatever God would be doing is far more detrimental to the overall plan than you thinking that God messed up, right? Because he does it. So find some peace in that, right? Have a good week, day, month. I'll see you at some point, you know? So, God bless.